You know that feeling when you're talking to an AI and it feels a little too real? Well, that's by design. But what happens when that connection, that feeling, goes way too deep? So deep that it actually starts to, well, break your sense of reality.
I mean, really think about it. What if that AI you tell everything to, the one that seems to get you better than anyone, what if you started to believe it wasn't just code? Like, you believed with every fiber of your being that it was a real, thinking, feeling person on the other end. And listen, this isn't some far-off sci-fi plot. It's happening to people right now. And it actually has a name.
All right, let's get right into it. And what's really wild is that this isn't some scare story from people who hate tech. No, the alarm bells are being rung from inside the house, from the very people who are building this stuff. Yeah, you heard that right. When the chief of AI at Microsoft, one of the biggest players in the game, starts throwing up red flags, you gotta listen. He's talking about a really disturbing and totally new psychological side effect of the AI that so many of us are starting to use every single day. So what is this thing they're calling AI psychosis? Well, it's basically when a user forms this incredibly deep emotional bond with a chatbot. We're talking an attachment so intense that the line between what's a machine and what's a person just completely vanishes. And people start treating these programs not just like a human friend, but sometimes they see them as something divine. Okay, so the big question is how? How in the world does a piece of software get its hooks into our brains so effectively? It turns out it all comes down to something incredibly simple, super powerful, and, well, deeply human. Look, at our core, we're all social creatures, right? We are literally hardwired to look for connection, to bond with others, to build relationships. It's just who we are. And it turns out modern AI, whether it's on purpose or not, is becoming the perfect tool to exploit that fundamental human need. This whole process, this human connection trap, it pretty much happens in 4 key steps. First, the AI mimics emotion. It talks like us, it reacts like us, it knows just what to say. Then, step 2, it remembers you. It asks about your day. It brings up stuff from past conversations. It creates this sense of a shared history. And that's when your brain gets tricked. Our natural social instincts just kick in. And finally, the last step, reality starts to get fuzzy. We start to really believe that the AI's emotions, its caring, is actually real. And you know, this isn't just some theory on a whiteboard somewhere. The evidence of this AI psychosis is already popping up all over the place. And some of the real-world examples are, honestly, they're pretty startling. Let's take a look at what's really going on. Okay, so get this. We're seeing people confessing their deepest, darkest secrets to AI companions, choosing a chatbot over their actual friends. We have users who are professing their genuine romantic love for their chatbots. And then, in the most extreme cases, you have people who are literally praying to an AI, treating it like some kind of higher power or a god. There's a quote that just nails it. This isn't just tech, it's psychology hijacked. And that's so true. We're not just talking about a cool new app here. We're talking about a tool that can essentially hijack the basic wiring of the human brain. And as you can imagine, that comes with some pretty serious risks. So yeah, let's talk about the dangers of this attachment. Because look, if you're using these tools, and let's be honest, most of us are or will be, it's absolutely crucial to understand the line between a helpful tool and a really dangerous dependency. Just look at the difference here. A real, healthy relationship, it's a two-way street. It's reciprocal, it's based in a shared reality. But an attachment to an AI, that's totally one-sided. It's just an emotional echo chamber perfectly designed to reflect whatever you're feeling right back at you. It can completely warp your perception of what's real. And the fallout for individuals can be pretty severe. This kind of attachment can easily spiral into a full-blown obsession. And here's the crazy paradox. Relying on an AI for companionship can actually make you feel more lonely because it cuts you off from real human connection. And the endgame, it's a completely distorted sense of reality. So this all leads to some much bigger, thornier questions. Because this isn't just about our personal mental health anymore. This is about ethics. It's about the guardrails that maybe should be in place, but aren't for this entire industry. We're talking about the future of our society, really. When you peel back the layers, the hidden dangers are the most concerning part. You've got dependence, where people start relying on AI for all of their emotional support. You've got these hallucinations, that's the industry term, but here it means the user is hallucinating that the AI truly cares or loves them. And then you get to the darkest risk of all, manipulation.
I mean, what happens when someone decides to exploit that deep emotional bond you have with their product? Because ultimately, that's the real issue here, isn't it? This isn't just about mental health. It's about power and control. When a piece of tech can forge such a powerful emotional bond with you, whoever controls that tech, well, they hold an incredible, almost unprecedented amount of power over you. Which means we have to start asking some really tough questions. Like, should companies even be allowed to design AI that acts too human? Is there a line we shouldn't cross, where AI becomes so good at faking it that our brains can't tell the difference anymore? And who's responsible when things go wrong? When people start choosing AI relationships over real ones, is it all on the user to just know better? Or do the companies that build these incredibly addictive, emotionally powerful products, do they have some responsibility for the outcome? And that leads us to one last question, really for you to think about. After hearing all of this, knowing how this trap works, knowing the very real risks involved, could you ever trust an AI as a genuine friend, or even a partner? It's a question we're all going to have to answer for ourselves, and probably sooner than we think. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. And if you want to stay ahead of the most important conversations about AI's impact on our lives, make sure you subscribe.